It happened at the Oratory of Don Bosco in the year 1872. All the boys of the Oratory gathered at the courtyard for the afternoon snack. Two young men from the bakery came in with 4 baskets full of fresh bread, and they were shouting, "One each and no more." 11-year-old Francis Piccolo, recently arrived at the Oratory, was waiting for his turn. Of course, he had a bowl full of thick soup, but that was 4 hours ago, and he thought to himself that he needed at least 2 loaves because he was really hungry. But then the Oratory was poor, and even the bread had to be rationed in the year 1872. As he was contemplating about it, he saw his own friends, after taking a loaf, would queue up again for the second one and for the third one. Piccolo was really hungry, and he thought to himself that he needed 2 loaves. Dominated by hunger, he allowed himself to take the second one and ran to eat them greedily. But then he was feeling guilty about the act he committed. Piccolo said to himself, "I have stolen, and how could I receive communion tomorrow? I must go for my confession." But what to do? His confessor was Don Bosco. Don Bosco would be pained if he come to know that Piccolo had stolen. So in order not to displease Don Bosco, he ran out of the Oratory to the shrine of Our Lady of Consolation to make his confession. Piccolo entered into the shrine, selected a confessional, and began his confession with all his innocence, saying, "I have come here to make my confession because I didn't want to make my confession to Don Bosco." A voice replied, "Don't worry, my son, go on. Don Bosco will never know a thing." And Piccolo was immediately troubled, disturbed. It was a familiar voice. It was the voice of Don Bosco. But how come Don Bosco was there? Is it a miracle? Don Bosco was usually invited to the shrine to hear confessions. Piccolo wanted to avoid Don Bosco, but the good Lord brought him to Don Bosco to make his confession. Don Bosco said, "Tell me, my son, what happened?" And Piccolo replied, "I have stolen a loaf of bread." Don Bosco asked, "Were you sick?" And Piccolo replied, "No." Don Bosco again asked, "Were you hungry?" And Piccolo replied, "Yes." And immediately Don Bosco said, "Hunger for food and thirst for drink are healthy feelings." Don Bosco advised him, saying, "Look, Francis, whenever you need something, ask Don Bosco. He will give all the breads that you need, and he will give you everything." Don Bosco prefers the confidence and the trust that the boys place in him. He again said, "Don't forget, Francis, the wealth of Don Bosco is the confidence and trust that the boys place in him." Long live Don Bosco and his mission.